powerless Christ, a suffering Christ, a subdued Christ. For many of us, it is shocking to see Christ at the receiving end of atrocities of humans. As a popular African-American spiritual says, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, and tremble. How can we make sense of Christ's disposition during this week? The Almighty God, the all-powerful God, the all-knowing God, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, undergoing merciless beating, torture, pain, agony, and death. We would like to say, come on, Jesus, this is the time you have to show your power. We know you have the power. Take control of the situation. With one word, your dad will send thousands of angels, and they will come down and rescue you and avenge your attackers. Your life is in danger. And Isaiah 53 describes this powerless Christ very well. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, yet he opened not his mouth. Totally unjustified atrocities have been committed, and Christ looks powerless. He who healed many with this power, he who raised people from death with this power, is now receiving blow after blow, being scourged and beaten. He is powerless. He is silent. He is suffering. And if you pause to look at his life, the life of the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, he was born in an unsanitary place, surrounded by dirt and stench. The omnipotent has become dependent on the nourishment of a young girl. His birth caused alarm in the palace, and he had to flee for his life. All through his life, his identity was always a question. If you are the Son of God was the preamble to every temptation. In other words, show your power. You are the Son of God, Jesus. Even at the cross, he was taunted. He saved others, but he cannot save himself, was the cry of the soldiers. Even the thief who was crucified with him asked him, are you the Messiah? Save yourself and us. Show your power and get us out of this mess. How can we describe this? How can we understand this non-action of Christ? We find it difficult because this is not the way we operate. We are constantly trying to gain control of our lives. The more control we have, the more powerful we will be. This seems to be a major contradiction. Many of us want to achieve self-control, but all of us fear powerlessness in the face of illness and death. We would like to retain an element of control, even though we realize that dying often involves the very opposite. Total loss of control of our muscles, our emotions, and our lives, as our human framework succumbs to powerful disintegrating forces. Kosuke Koyama, who is a very famous Japanese theologian, he explained this very, very well in his book titled No Handle on the Cross. He contrasts the cross with a lunchbox. He says, with a nourishing, well-filled lunchbox in our hands, we can whistle and light-footedly follow Jesus from victory to victory. The lunchbox symbolizes our resourcefulness, spiritual and mental energy, good honest thinking, Let us prepare then. Take up our life box and follow him. We can and remain resourceful. We can even walk ahead of Jesus instead of following him. The contrast is between the lunchbox and the cross. The cross is very inconvenient to carry because it has no handle. Cars with powerful engines obey us because we control them with steering wheel. Doors can be efficiently controlled if we operate with a handle. It is with electric switches that we control electronic appliances of all kinds. Developed technological devices give us power and control. Uncontrolled power is not technology. Technology is controlled power. In contrast, theology has a danger signal. The opening prayer of Solomon at the inauguration of the magnificent temple he built for the Lord represents this right kind of theology. He says, "Behold, the heavens and the highest heaven cannot contain me." The basic difference between technology and theology is that technology gives us both power and handle, whereas the cross gives us the power, but no handle. A mind that is trained under the weights of the cross, without a handle, is called the crucified mind. Jesus shows us in this parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector. Pharisee's life was a controlled one, and the tax collector completely and totally on the mercy of God. When you look deeply into the events of this week, from today to Easter, it is clear Jesus was not really passively experiencing all the suffering. He was taking the road less traveled, a path that unexpectedly enabled us to achieve genuine control in the face of death. The hallmark of this path is a personal decision to accept our sufferings, actively laying down our life on behalf of others by embracing the particular kind of death God has ordained for us, patterning our choices on the choice consciously made by our Lord Jesus Christ, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Jesus was a king. He has a kingdom, but his kingdom is totally at odds with any display of power. Some people like to dominate others, abuse their power, and manipulate others, but that has no place in Jesus' kingdom. Those with power unfortunately abuse their power in so many ways, but Jesus is totally powerless on the cross. He cannot even save himself. He saved others. Let him save himself. He is the Christ, the Lord. But the values of his kingdom are service and humility. If we want to be great, we must be like children. We are to carry our cross after Jesus every day. There is no place for violence or retribution in Jesus' kingdom. Jesus is a king, but his kingdom is not of this world. Jesus did not abuse power. He is our model. He's a humble king. He's an example to those who abuse power. That abuse of power has no place in Jesus' kingdom. There is no envy or greed or lust for power in Jesus. In many ways, we see that Jesus' kingdom is totally at odds with any display of power in this world. You know, Jesus kept company with tax collectors, sinners, and prostitutes. So much so that the authorities described Jesus as a glutton and a drunkard and a friend of tax collectors and sinners. You would expect kings to receive important people and dignitaries, but Jesus received the lowly, the rejected people of his time, the lost, the least, and the last. A king might expect to receive gift, but Jesus gave gifts. He restored health to those who were sick. Jesus was not the kingly type according to our understanding of the king. He was a powerless king. Kings wear a crown. And what sort of crown did he wear? It was a crown of thorns. What throne did he have? A cross. Jesus' idea of king and power is totally opposite to the world's idea of king and power. His kingdom was a kingdom of truth and life, a kingdom of holiness and grace, a kingdom of justice, love, and peace. Our invitation to this kingdom is to simply lay down our power, and that God, who in his infinite mercy choose suffering, and that he may raise us with power and strength. Then we can boldly sing one of the ancient hymns of the church. If you will turn to your bulletin to page 6, we can read that together. So second reading for today. In essence, this is the Passion Week message. Can we say it together? Let the same mind be in you that was in Christ Jesus, who though he was in the form of God, did not regard equality with God as something to be exploited, but emptied himself, taking the form of a slave, being born in human likeness, and being found in human form, he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even death on the cross. Therefore God also highly exalted him, and gave him the name that is above every name, so that in the name of Jesus every knee should bend, in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue should confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. It is in laying down of power we are being exalted in the power of the resurrection. It is in dying we find power and new life. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.